thousands of years, Eskimos and other Arctic dwellers have kept from freezing with heavy clothing of fur. Garments like this do keep a person warm until they become wet from water or from perspiration, which flows heavily when a man exerts himself, even at low temperatures. During World War II, with Navy ships deep in Arctic seas and with military installations in the far north, an urgent need existed for winter clothing that would be warm under all weather conditions and light and flexible enough to let a man work freely. To meet this need, two civilian employees of the Navy, Salvatore Gianola and Dominic Maglio, went to work. After extensive testing, they decided to apply to boots and clothing the same principles of insulation used in modern walls. An insulating material that holds dead air in tiny pores and sandwiched between two outer layers. So they consulted the DuPont company on the use of material. And DuPont recommended using 2 layers of durable nylon twill coated with DuPont's man-made rubber neoprene. For insulation, DuPont recommended nylon fleece for trousers and rayon acetate fleece for jackets. These materials are strong, flexible, and resilient. And the suggestions work. Here is the Arctic gear finally developed. Gianola and Maglio, its designers, tested it themselves at sea during bitter storms near the Arctic Circle and on land in Alaska at temperatures lower than 50 degrees below zero. Thermal wear, nicknamed the deep freeze suit, is now standard with the Navy, and all the armed forces now use the thermal boot. Let me show you a test. A short while ago, a man put on this new gear and then stood under an icy shower for 10 minutes. Now, he's been in this giant refrigerator at 40 degrees below zero for 20 minutes. More than long enough to kill a man wearing normal Arctic clothing that was wet. Let's see how he is. Well, how do you feel?
Fine. Warm as toast.
That's fine, thank you. Now let's see some civilian adaptations of this new fabric construction. These hunting clothes are so warm and waterproof that you could fall in an icy stream and not get wet or chilled. A jacket like this will keep you snug and dry. These children's snowsuits are warm, waterproof, and permit them to play outside in any weather. Once again, individual ingenuity and products of DuPont research have teamed up to bring you something new, something better. It is another example of how DuPont helps to bring you an ever-increasing supply of better things for better living through chemistry.
This is a big weekend for him. New friends have invited him to their hunting lodge. He wishes he knew as much about duck hunting as they do, but he can show them something about how to keep warm and comfortable outdoors. This new lightweight quilted underwear really does the job. It's insulated with DuPont Dacron fiber film. Even on a raw, bitter morning like this, the cold can't get through. When it's time for action, he can move fast, and there's no heavy clothing to get in the way. Looks like a mighty successful weekend. Whenever you're outdoors in cold weather, for work or for sports, you'll feel better enjoying the comfort and warmth of this new underwear, insulated with soft, fluffy Dacron. So look for the fiber first. Look for the blue DuPont tag that says Dacron polyester fiber film.
Who can afford dinner parties these days? You can, because Teflon and I just made entertaining easier and affordable. Easier because Teflon has been improved. Its non-stick, easy clean benefits now last longer. Affordable because you can now prepare dinners such as this shrimp mousse for about $2 a person. To learn how, pick up my free booklet at participating stores where Teflon-coated cookware is sold.
It's nothing.
It's something? Like a suitcase. Nothing heavy. Nothing heavy.
I won't.
A suitcase. You carry the car. I'll start the suitcase.
No stick, easy clean, Teflon-coated cookware. It's for people who have to eat and run.
Hope it's the boy.
Look for the Teflon 2 quality seal from DuPont.
We have big wants in this big country, but who are we? What do we produce? What kind of jobs do we have? And what are we building? The paperwork involved in answering these and many other questions asked in the United States census taking resulted in a veritable snowstorm. In the 1960 census, the TANAVAC computer systems. This one at the University of North Carolina helped the Census Bureau cut processing time from many months to a few weeks. Other great projects, such as designing and building a nuclear submarine that could circle the globe submerged, would have been practically impossible without a computer. Navigating in the eerie, starless world under the polar ice cap requires tools to free men's minds. Designing, building, and tracking a satellite in orbit without a computer, in fact, a series of specialized computers, each doing a specific job, would be something like trying to dig the St. Lawrence Seaway with a hand shovel. Actually, we're moving so fast, building so much, producing so much, that progress would be choked by paperwork if the electronic breakthrough hadn't occurred just when it did.
Few will disagree that today's mail system is an idea whose time has come and gone. Maybe the only way to improve it is to build a new one. One built to be faster, cheaper, more convenient. It's called MCI Mail. Instead of using a mailbox, you send mail electronically. Using practically any electronic typewriter, home computer, workstation, or telex, you can reach anyone, anywhere, regardless of their equipment, or whether they have any equipment. MCI Mail can work instantly, in hours, or overnight. Compare that to the old postal system. And while you're comparing, consider that MCI Mail can cost up to 90% less than overnight mail. This is the end of an idea that worked for 208 years, and the beginning of the nation's new postal system, MCI Mail.
There's a new pace of business, and it's called
Now! I need it now.
Not tomorrow.
Not today. Not in a minute.
Now!
Now there's a system to handle the now pace of business, MCI Mail. With it, you can send letters and documents all over the continental U.S. instantly. And because you control MCI Mail, you'll know they got it now.
When I say now, I mean now.
Call MCI Mail. Nothing's faster than now.
Welcome to the world of electronic mail, where you can accomplish all your business communications instantly, without leaving your desk. Electronic mail is as easy as dialing the telephone. You just address your message to the proper recipient, type your text, and hit send. Your message gets delivered in a flash, and you're ready to move on to your next business task. Electronic mail is the most efficient way to communicate. There's no need to play telephone tag or wait on hold or have your message hand-delivered. It goes right to the person you want it to without wasting valuable time, and messages are never lost. Have an important announcement to make to the entire department? Electronic mail lets you send messages simultaneously to more than one person. Or maybe you need to reach only one key individual, but want others to be party to your communication. Electronic mail lets you CC secondary recipients.
In the world of electronic mail, there are no geographic boundaries. From your terminal, you can send messages company-wide to employees and business associates across the country and around the world.
Had you gotten any telephone information that he was on the way, or you just waited till he showed up over the field?
I think we just waited at
I see it's pretty clear. Look at that.
Yeah, it was. There was just some scattered clouds.
Were there any other planes in the area to more or less escort him, or did everyone?
No, I don't think so. I think he was the only one.
Didn't you take any footage when he taxied up and got out of the plane?
No, I don't know why.
Maybe you couldn't get to it.
That's it. I don't know.
Is that Lindbergh on the left there?
I don't know. I can't.
It's very hard to see.
Now there's the prominent character in Wilmington called Nebels Middleton. He was a sort of a retarded chap that was always present at any big affairs. He always led the parade, and he was
Nebels Middleton.
Nebels Middleton. He was always known as Nebels, and here he was leading the parade here. And I got a close-up of him now. Here comes Lindbergh in the automobile.
Is that Baynard Stadium or leaving the airport?
No, this is coming into Baynard Stadium, I believe, with a motorcycle escort to begin, to start.
Wilmington Police.
Wilmington Police, yes.
What's that, Buick there?
I don't know.
There he is.
You can see there was a pretty good crowd there.
Yes.
Do you reckon, who's the man with him, do you know?
I think that's HB in the cap, in the hat there. No, it isn't. That's the governor.
That's the governor.
I think that's Governor Robinson. I think Gary Scassaway was there. Now there's Bill Highfield putting his head, the white-haired man. Lindbergh in the center.
Did he arrive in, he must have had a flying suit on when he got out of the airplane, didn't he? And removed that and had
Yeah, I
a business suit
think
under?
so, yes. I think he just took he had his business suit underneath.
Yes, that's
Yeah, that's Robinson.
Were you having to look after the radio broadcast as well as take the movies?
I don't think so. I think that, now that may not have been broadcast. That microphone there was for the loudspeakers.
I see. Who was Highfield?
He was the potentate of Lulu Temple in Philadelphia, a very active Mason in Wilmington. He was in the insurance business. Now this picture is the one that's shown in the Philadelphia Inquirer.
What's he holding, his helmet?
Yes,
I believe he is.
Looks like he's got
Yes.
another helmet there. I wonder if he stressed the need for municipal airports every place he went.
It could be.
No train went by during all this, did it? In the track right in back there?
Yeah, I don't recollect any.
Gosh, he looked young there,
He
doesn't he?
did look young.
He was.
He was born in 1902, so he was 25.
How long did he talk, Willard?
Oh, he didn't talk very long. I think 5 or 10 minutes.
Besides pushing for municipal airfield, did he talk about anything else that you remember?
I can't recollect.
Probably the newspaper account.
Yeah, I think so, yes. I'll give you that.
I wish I knew what he had there.
Well, I think it's his leather helmet. It may have been his, he should be in his group.
There's Gary Scassaway, I think, in the back. Now there he is signing this Christmas seal for Miss Bissell. No, he's putting his suit, putting his coat on, yeah. There's HB.
Yeah, I guess he was in one of those other pictures.
Yeah.
That's quite the way I remember
Yeah.
him. Still picture. He had his hat on. Yeah. Still picture.
There's Miss Bissell. She's giving him the Christmas seal, see?
Right.
There he is. How about that? Yeah, that's what I remember. We were in the plane with Park with that kind of fence around it.
Yeah. There he goes.
Did he come back in circle or just head away and leave?
I think he did make a circle and then...
Pilot could resist doing that.
No, he made the circle there, you can see, as he was gaining altitude.
Here in the lovely Catskills, near the historic Hudson River, nestles Rip Van Winkle Glen. Some people still believe the legend that the sound of thunder in the glen is caused by old Rip and the elves bowling on the green. Ridiculous. And who would be silly enough today to believe elves could brew a potion strong enough to put old Rip to sleep for 20 years or so? Impossible. Just impossible.
That's what you think. Oh, I'm Elf, the elf. I'm busy as a bug. A brewing sleeping potion for my little brown jug. If your world is full of worry and your life is full of woe, you can always choose to take a snooze of 20 years or so. Take it from Alf, the elf. I make the stuff myself. If you think you really want to sleep for 20 years or more, just wish for me and there I'll be a-knocking at your door. Oh, a customer. Van Winkle, eh? Sounds familiar.
Hey, who are you?
Oh, I'm Alf, the elf. I'm busy as a bug, and I can cure your misery with this little brown jug. Before you sip and take your trip, there's something I must know. Just what is it that bothers you, and why do you want to go?
Well, why not? I'll never amount to anything anyway. Everything is in millions and billions these days. Millions of capital for this, billions of capital for that. How much capital have I got? Nothing. Guy like me just isn't important anymore. Okay, pull a cork, friend.
This guy thinks he's really got it tough. You know, my friend, I've been around 100 years or more, and if you think it's tough today, you should have lived before.
Before what?
Before these millions and billions of capital were needed every year. I'll tell you what, my woeful friend, let's journey back a ways, so you can see what life was like way back in olden days. I'll even set you up in a small business with the necessary capital.
Yeah, capital. Moneybags Van Winkle, that's me.
A cobbler doesn't require much capital. Here's a knife and some money to buy the things you need.
Well, it takes more than a knife and a fistful of dollars to make shoes.
Not if you don't mind hard work. Call if you need me.
Yeah, but where'd he go?
You see, Rick, a colonial cobbler didn't need much money to buy his simple tools and equipment. But working with inexpensive and inefficient tools, a man had to labor 80 hours a week to produce only a few pairs of shoes for a few customers. Working from dawn to dusk, a man was lucky to earn enough in a week to house, feed, and clothe his family. In those days, the average man's wife could only dream of luxuries. Even the bare necessities of life were hard enough to come by.
Alf, get me out of this trap.
Okay, just sit there, and we'll move forward a couple of 100 years in a hurry.
During the last 200 years, it has taken thousands of inventions and billions of invested capital to create and develop the complex tools used today. These efficient and expensive tools not only make your work easier than it was in colonial days, but your time is worth a lot more now because you produce so much more. In a typical 40-hour week, it takes 18 hours of work to buy the necessities of life. It takes 12 hours of work to pay your taxes. What you earn in the other 10 hours means you can buy a lot of things that make life more pleasant. And like most people, you'll have something left over for savings and insurance.
Of course, inexpensive tools are still used for simple jobs. This knife and a piece of willow is all the capital I need to produce a whistle to play a tune for you.
But suppose we want to get Alf's little tune to millions of people all over the country. Huge amounts of capital would be required to create the tools to do this big job and assemble and train the skilled technicians to operate the costly and complex equipment. No individual has enough capital to finance even one of the nation's larger corporations. The billions of capital our business system needs comes directly or indirectly from the savings of the American people. For example, today more than 8 million families have risked their savings to buy shares of stock directly in corporations.
Well, that leaves me out. I don't own a share of anything.
How about these?
So what's the connection?
Millions of individuals just like you, Rick, have savings in banks, insurance companies, savings and loan associations, and investment companies. These institutions reinvest insurance premiums and savings in businesses of all kinds. $1,000 of capital might be enough to operate a ceramic shop or a dressmaking establishment, while a farm might represent a capital investment of $75,000. America is a nation with large corporations as well as small ones, and it takes billions of dollars a year to finance the facilities and manpower required to serve the needs and wants of over 168 million consumers. Every business must use its capital wisely to win and maintain success. Progressive industrial concerns must be able to finance costly research programs if they are going to stay ahead of competition. Research brings about the phenomenal technological advances that create new and better products for the public. Our great transportation facilities have been created by billions of dollars of invested capital. Ships, railroads, trucks, and airplanes carry the outpourings of industry to retail outlets in thousands of cities and towns all over the United States. Today, the savings of so many people are helping to finance big and small businesses that, directly or indirectly, every adult American is an investor.
Me, an investor? Well, what do you know? That's right. When a bank pays interest on your savings account, and when you receive dividends on your insurance policy, you get a direct return on your money.
When successful companies pay dividends, stockholders get a direct return on their investments. Many public and private institutions that serve the citizens of their communities depend upon income from investments to help meet operating expenses. For example, many churches depend upon income from investments to help carry on their good work. Investment income can help libraries to buy new books and equipment, and enable museums to complete many important projects. So every community in the nation has a real stake in the profitable operation of big and small businesses throughout the land.
Actually, Rick, you and millions of your fellow Americans provide the billions of capital industry needs to create more efficient tools of production, which enable you as a worker to produce more and therefore to earn more. And using all this capital creatively means a better life for you as a consumer, too.
For example, in 1920, you would have had to work 944 hours to earn enough to pay for this dream boat. Now, as a result of using billions of dollars of capital to create the complex and expensive tools used by industry, you work only 843 hours to earn enough to buy this super-duper special deluxe model. In 1930, this gal might have spent about $16 for a dozen pairs of silk stockings. As a result of the investment of many millions of dollars in new chemical processes, today a woman can buy a dozen pairs of better quality stockings for about $11 and have $5 left over. This extra money can become creative as savings, or it can become creative as increased purchasing power. Either way, the gal gets satisfactory interest on her money.
Of course, not all capital remains creative.
That's right, Rick. Some businesses fail even in the best of times because of bad judgment, mistakes of management, or being in the wrong spot. But the progress of our business system is measured by the margin by which success outruns failure. And in the history of our country, we have always had enough people willing to bet on progress, to risk their savings on new ideas that promise a profit, ideas that create new and better ways of life. So you see, Rick, it's millions of individuals just like you who keep our business system ticking.
Well, I guess I'm more important than I figured.
You bet you are. Your savings are important, and you're important as a citizen, as a worker, and as a consumer. That makes you, Rick, a pretty big man.
Yes, Rick, your savings and the savings of over 168 million other Americans, plus the reinvested earnings of corporations, combine to form our golden shower of creative capital. A golden shower that nourishes the creation of new and better tools of production to ensure a better standard of living for our people. There is literally no end to the story of what creative capital can do in human betterment.
Frankly, Rick, if you haven't noticed how necessary you really are, maybe you've already been asleep for 20 years. But I'm an elf of my word, so take a sniff and off to dreamland you go.
Oh, hold it. None of that Slumberwell stuff for me. This country can't get along without fellas like me.
Oh, I'm Elf, the elf. I'm happy as a bug, 'cause I haven't poured a drop from my little brown jug. It seems to me in times like these with so much going on, it's a shame what you miss when you merely yawn.